Good morning, traders. I hope you're doing really well. Just looking at a few pairs across the board for our morning setups. Okay, I'm looking at Great Britain pound pairs in particular, to be honest. Let's start with GBP NZD. So GBP NZD on a daily time frame, we've had a head and shoulder pattern that had occurred previously in the previous couple of days. Yesterday's low was at all the way 1.95141. That was yesterday's point, and price action is now rejecting to come back and retest the neckline of this head and shoulder. Looking at it here at the 4-hour time frame, you can clearly see we've got a head and shoulder pattern. After a retest, I am looking for a potential short trade from this area of resistance. This area of resistance is also an area where we have the moving averages acting as an area of dynamic resistance. Okay, using our Fibonacci tool from the swing high, we've spotted two series of lower lows and lower highs. The lows, the lower highs again, another low, lower high, and then finally made that third lower low. I'm expecting for that third lower high before completing this entire move to the downside. If I get my Fibonacci tool from the significant high to the significant low, we can see the 38.2 is now into this area of resistance. Okay, we have area of resistance, but we also have price action coming, potentially pushing back into our head and shoulder zone. If this happens, I'm not looking for a potential long trade. I'm only going to be interested if price action comes back into this trend resistance and rejects it and moves lower. If I move it back down to the significant second lower high, so we've got the first one, move it down to the second one, and look what you get. So we've completed this A, B, C, D move. Okay, so clearly let's just look at this. A, B, 38, C, D move complete. So now what do? We bring our A back down to where we started with A, B, C. C is now becoming A. Bring price back down into where D was as B level, and we look for our C retracement before our D continuation. So now we've got our confirmation that this area is a 38.2 from our second lower high. I do believe price action is going to continue lower, and we could potentially see tomorrow a rally to the downside on pound. Okay, looking at GBP. That was GBP NZD. Okay, GBP Swiss franc. Similar pattern in my opinion. We've got that nice head and shoulder, shoulder. Price action made that low. Let's look at it from the significant second lower high, which is here. Let's see where price action pulls back into. We've got the 618 lining up nicely with this area of resistance that I'm looking for price action to pop itself back into. However, we have the 38.2 here, where price action again can react from where the moving averages are, and we could see an early push to the downside. If we do see a suppressed movement to the upside, a little impulse move to the upside, don't be phased by it, as price action may want to just come back and want to come and retest this entire structure here where we previously had broken, not come back to. Okay, so that's what what might happen. Keep your eyes literally on the lookout for this pair. If price action does react from here, look for a instant move to the downside. We could have a massive move to the downside. Let's just see if this A, B, C move had completed. A, B, C, 38.2 hasn't completed all the way down to the 61 minus 61, but we've come down to minus 27. First targets have been hit. Now it's on it. How can we get to our second target? This is the question. And to get to the second target, same formation. If we can get rejection, we will get down to that second target, which will now be our minus 27. But if we get further push, we'll meet the minus 618. The further the push, the further the retracement, okay, the more the impulse moves to the downside. So keep your eyes out for that one. At the moment, I don't believe that price action has the legs to go up. We may see something like this, a push back down into this area to create a double bottom before making that move up, or we may see just a push up until the next 4-hour candlestick closes, which is in literally 2 hours. Okay, it's 4 a.m. at the moment, so it's about 6 a.m. when it closes. Okay, and I will keep you guys up to date on what happens. Looking at Euro GBP on daily time frame, on a daily time frame, what you could see is that price action now. Yesterday, so just this May. Okay, just now we've removed everything. Let's look at it here. What do we have? We've had multiple days where price action was stuck in this range here, just coming back into it. We've had a bullish engulfing tap back into the zone where no reaction. Price action wants to push higher, has no legs to the upside. I do believe price action may make that one final push, make that third touch on the trend line, and then rally up. If that happens, I will be keeping you guys up to date. I move down into this area, 0.88400, 0.88250 level. I am looking for a potential trade to the upside. If we get a move down into this area, then we know that GBP strength is getting stronger and we may see a rally back up. So I am going to be keeping a close eye on all GBP pairs, see how they move. But I do believe that we need a third touch onto this area to complete this formation that price action is doing. Okay, look at this clear formation that price action is doing. That's what it needs to complete. And then that's where you look to get in. You don't look to get in too early. You don't look to get in too late. You want to wait for price action to do its thing. Okay, that's what you want to do. See this formation here? Price action, just let it complete its thing. See how it's got double bottom? Let it complete that double bottom. See formation? Similar formations, okay? Where you got some sort of M formation. That's what you want. Price action comes back into this area. Let's clone this move, and we could see a potential move similar that had made that impulse move to the upside, and that makes that new high, taking that structure of this whole region. That's what you want to be looking for, okay? Get in at these lows where we have potential move to the upside. Also, on a 4-hour time frame, we do have an inverted head and shoulder. Price action looking to make that final push down to complete the shoulder. This final shoulder on this side. We've got the head. Price action tried to create similar head back down here to create a double bottom, but instead it didn't make a high, it made a higher low. So that's why we pulled out our trend line. 2 higher lows. Price trend, we pull out your trend line. Can we get the third one here? And then can we get that move to the upside? So I am keeping my eye on Euro GBP, and I will keep you guys up to date. USD CAD price action right now is in the area of range. With this triangular formation, we normally get a fake out and then the real move. However, I do believe we may get a fake out tomorrow due to the fact that Dixie, the strength of dollar is very strong. Look at the breakout. This is very, very strong breakout to the upside. Very strong breakout to the upside. Okay, you see it? Look at this pin bar to the upside. Bullish engulfing, another bullish engulfing candlestick, and a massive move to the upside. We may get a retracement in doing so, and then we may continue this movement back up to break out this high to make a new high and potentially push up to the 100 level. If that happens, USD CAD will be pushed up higher, and if it gets pushed up higher, I do believe we may come into this region here. Okay, we do have fundamentals for United States tomorrow, and their core durable goods will be released, the data. If that comes in negative, of course we are going to see that move to the downside, but I do believe what we may get is in the morning and maybe a fake out before literally whipping back in and making that move to the downside. If this happens, we are going to see a movement on US oil. We are going to see a fake out on US oil as well, to the downside before rallying to the upside. Stops out right now at break even. Price action is hovering above just some people's entries. I know some people got in at 56. Luckily, we got in at 56, 55, 75. Some of us got in at 55, 80. I do believe with oil, it still has room for the upside. So going back to United States dollar versus Canadian dollar on a daily time frame, we have multiple wicks. But with this dragonfly candlestick on a daily, I do believe we are ready for manipulation. So if manipulation does occur and price action may want to come and retest these highs, we are going to be fucking ready for it, okay? And we are going to be looking to short it from these highs if that occurs. 1.33400, 1.33500 level. I am going to be looking to see if price action fakes out. Even if it fakes out above the box and respects this trend line, we could look to short it. We have 1 touch, 2 touch, we need that 3rd touch of the trend line and then make that move to the downside. That happens, we may see a little massive fake out to the downside on US oil. Then we could look to take in some more long trades. I will be keeping you guys up to date with this correlation. Okay. Furthermore, looking at US oil, what can we see? We've got a nice clear head and shoulder pattern, inverted head and shoulder pattern right now. We're respecting this the neckline where we broke out. So what I am seeing right now is this price action on the 4 hour. We've got that 1, 2, 3 push to the upside. We get that pullback before the continuation. It's all about how much of a pullback are we going to get. At the moment, we are respecting this area, this wicks support. So we are respecting this region. Are we going to get a push up on the next 4 hour candlestick, or are we going to make a push lower? At the moment, I feel like we are going to make that push lower to come back and retest the structure. But if that happens, we are going to take that long trade again. If not, we are going to be watching what price action does, and we are expecting price action to make a couple hundred pips move to the upside. So if this starts to rally to the upside, we may just see Canadian dollar make that move lower early. But if that doesn't happen, then you know why. And you know, I'm explaining it to you already in advance that Canadian dollar is going to fake out before making that move because it's in this triangular formation. I have said to you so many times in the past, whenever you get a triangular formation, you get a fake out before the real move. So keep your eyes on oil and keep your eyes on USD CAD. Also looking at Euro JPY, we have seen a support region here. You see this is a hidden support on a 4 hour. I did say yesterday we may get a break of this structure, retest back, and then making that move lower. If that happens, we can look at USD JPY, GBP JPY, and AUD JPY all to kind of mimic the same move. So at the moment, price actually made that lower low, lower high, equal lows, lower high, bearish engulfing back down, came back into the structure, 3 pin pattern to the downside. We've got a kind of a hammer or hanging man, some would say, formation now to the downside, I believe. Look at that previous 4 hour candlestick, bearish, next candle bearish. So what I do believe is we are getting a retest of this structure right now of 117,750, maybe 117,792. Take some partial profits, book some put your stop loss at break even. I know some of us have got in at 1118. I know some of us have got in at these levels here. So book some profits and just let this trade play out itself. If you get stopped out, we will look for an entry tomorrow. But if not, let it just rise to the downside. I do believe yen pairs will gain strength tomorrow and drag all these pairs to the downside. Looking at USD JPY as well, I made that short call yesterday from around 108,700, and we are just slightly in a little bit of a drawdown. Okay. However, what's happened? We've got a double top indecisiveness occur on a 4 hour. I have said to you guys in the past, if we get this formation here, this is a hanging man formation where price action is just hanging at the top of a resistance. All it wants to do is rally back down. So what we may see is a triple top here. That may occur right now because price action hasn't got the legs to go down. So it pulls back up. If it pulls back up, we are looking to potentially take a short trade here. Only if Dixie starts to make that move down. Okay. If Dixie hasn't got legs and it starts to make that move down, Canadian dollar will follow to make that move lower. US oil will make that move higher. And then we are going to see, USD JPY make that move lower. Does that make sense? Okay. It's all about that correlation. Again, I'll repeat myself. If Dixie dollar index makes that move lower to correct itself, United States Canadian dollar will make a move down. United States dollar will make a move down. USD JPY will make a move down. Euro USD will make a move up. AUD USD will make a move up. Whenever dollar weakens, okay, every pair that trades with dollar tends to gain strength. Okay, makes sense. So, as I said, we may see a pullback. If we see a pullback on USD JPY, we'll potentially see a pullback on Euro JPY and GBP JPY. You see how Euro JPY and GBP JPY setup is very similar, where price action is just hugging the trend line. These type of moves only result in momentum shifting to the downside, but it's taking its time. Okay, so book some partial profits. I'll just book some partial profits, and I do believe that price action will make a move lower, but just take its time. Also GJ, I did say that price action, if it holds at this area of support, and can move higher. We do understand why. We do need the we've had the lower high, made the lower lows, another lower high, another lower low, which was equal to these lows here. Price action is respecting this area. At the moment, I did say to you guys yesterday, Whenever you get a bearish engulfing and then you get a doji next to it, signs of reversal. I want to highlight this region now, this entire region, and I'm going to look for price action to potentially push itself back into this area. If not, we could look for a potential long trade tomorrow. However, if we do get rejected from these highs up here, where we've had multiple wicks to the downside, so loads of wicks to the upside, sorry, we do expect movement to the downside. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the 1.1 and 1.33 level, see what price action does around there. Let me see yesterday's daily high. Yesterday's daily high was up here. Okay, so we could potentially come back to retest yesterday's daily high before making that move lower. So I am going to be keeping you guys up to date. Price action comes back to retest yesterday's daily high and rejects, then I'm going to be looking across the board for GBP pairs. GBP USD, as you can see, we are getting a retest, okay? Bearish engulf into the downside. Another bearish indecisive candlestick. Retracement is needed before a continuation. A, B, C, pulling back. D, extension. I do believe we are going to see maybe a potential. If we break the weekly support at 123, we could potentially see a movement back down to 120 or 122 level. This is a daily time frame. Looking at the 4 hour. Okay, price action is trapped. Okay, price action is trapped in an area of previous demand zone where we've had that move up. So right now, buyers and sellers are going to battle. So we may see a period of consolidation. This occurs. I'm going to be waiting to see what price action does just during New York session. Reason being is because we have core durable goods orders, personal spending, FOMC member speaks. We have personal income all at 130. So I'm going to be watching that to see if price action is going to affect this pair in particular. Also at 8 o'clock today we have the member of parliament speaking at 8 o'clock. This is going to create volatility in pound. So if we see any negative comments, we could see movement to the downside still continue. Any positive comments, we could see a push up and break out of this trend line. So I am looking for a third touch of the trend line. It's important to get that third touch of the trend line before making that move lower. So anywhere up here, get one more touch. I do believe GBP USD can make a move lower. And finally, let's look at AUD USD. Okay, I'm looking at these setups because I do like them. AUD USD respecting this trend line. Like I said, it would respect. We've got a double bottom formation now. Let's go down to the hourly and see if we can spot any market formation. At the moment, nothing insignificant apart from this here 1, 2, 3 morning star formation, bearish engulfing continuation. We had an evening star formation at an area of potential resistance up here. Okay, we had the resistance occur up there. We had an evening star formation, push down. Again, we have a morning star formation, push up, push down, pin bar. So I like this pin bar here, hourly pin bar. I'm going to mark it. So I like this hourly pin bar here. This is going to give me a lot of confluency in terms of understanding why price action is here. So I like this pin bar. I am going to be seeing how the 4 hour closes. If you get a 4 hour kind of a bullish candlestick, I am potentially looking for an upside move. On a 4 hour, it looks like we are getting a 1, 2, 3 to the upside, just not yet. I just need more confirmation. I am going to be keeping you guys up to date with this one. Okay. Australian dollar doesn't seem to be stronger than dollar itself, so I am going to be keeping a close eye to see whether it's this week or next week we're going to get this massive push to the upside. Apart from that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this morning watch list. Keep a close eye on Euro GBP, keep a close eye on oil, keep a close eye on Canadian dollar, Euro JPY. We've got GBP JPY, all the GBP pairs, all the yen pairs. GN in particular, keep a very close eye on GN. I'll tell you now the highest probability trades: GN, EG, US oil. Keep those three massively in the red zone, as in like high probability trades. Also I'd be looking at potentially GBP JPY as well. GBP JPY looks really good. Okay, in terms of price action, can it tap back up into this area and then rally back down to make new lows back into this area? Can we break out of this region and make a push back down to 131? And we could have a massive push down, about 160 pip tomorrow, depending on fundamentals, or we could have a rally up. So, in my opinion, USD CAD up there with oil. Okay, USD CAD, oil, Euro GBP, GBP NZD, and potentially GBP Swiss franc. That should be your main watch list. Everything else you could potentially just highlight it as the green, as the fact that price action isn't where we want it to be. Okay, and we could see potentially a push up or down, or it could be no man's land. So until we figure out where price action is, I'm not really interested. Let me look at these Euro NZD, looking beautiful for a long trade on this one. We had a rejection from the monthly, Monday I think it was, around Monday, back down to weekly. Some of you held that trade from Monday that when I sent out at 1.75600, you would have now been up at least 238 pips. I do believe we are going to continue this downside momentum. If we break weekly, we could potentially see potential move to 1.72. So this pair seems to be one of the pairs that I actually love trading. It moves so smoothly. Hardly any fundamentals. Okay, let's see how this plays out as well. NZD, USD, hardly any movement here. Not really interested. AJ, similar, not interested. UJ, anything there? Nothing. So yeah, keep an eye on GBP NZD, Euro GBP, US oil, USD CAD. Okay, GBP Swiss franc as well if you push up high into that region. Catch up with you lot later. Enjoy this morning breakdown.